What happens when corrupt cops pick the wrong man to intimidate? When they try to mess with a former Marine, they're about to learn a lesson. They'll never forget a lesson about discipline, justice, and standing your ground. It was a peaceful Sunday evening in the small town of Arlington, Mississippi. The kind of town where life moved at a slower pace, yet beneath its quiet surface, hidden tensions often brewed. Nathan Williams, a middle-aged man with a calm yet commanding presence, was driving home with his 8-year-old nephew, Malik. They had spent the afternoon fishing at a nearby lake. A tradition Nathan had recently started to teach Malik patience and the value of simple joys. Nathan, once a decorated Marine, had traded his disciplined military life for a quieter existence, focusing on family and living a peaceful life. As they drove down the almost empty two-lane road, the sun cast golden hues over the horizon. Malik sat in the back seat, animatedly recounting their day and proudly holding up a small fish they had caught. Nathan smiled warmly at the boy through the rearview mirror, his deep voice filled with reassurance and affection as he humored Malik's excitement. Just as they passed a weathered sign marking the town limits, Nathan noticed flashing red and blue lights in the rearview mirror. His stomach tightened not from fear, but from knowing what those lights often signified in this town. He eased the car to the side of the road and spoke to Malik in a calm tone. "Stay quiet, Malik. Everything's going to be fine." A police cruiser pulled up behind them. 2 officers stepped out, one tall and wiry, the other stocky with an air of arrogance that screamed trouble. Nathan kept his hands on the steering wheel, his movements deliberate and visible. Years of experience had taught him to remain composed in situations like this. "License and registration," the stocky officer barked, his tone unnecessarily aggressive. Nathan nodded, moving slowly to retrieve his wallet and the car's paperwork. "Just heading home," Nathan replied evenly when the wiry officer circled the car and asked if he was in a hurry. The officers exchanged glances that hinted at more than a routine stop. This wasn't about law enforcement, it was a power play. The wiry officer ran a check on Nathan's ID while the stocky cop tried to provoke him further. "Brake lights out," he sneered, though Nathan was sure it had been working earlier. When Nathan questioned this calmly, the officer's smirk widened. "Are you questioning me?" he snapped. Nathan held his gaze, his voice steady. "Not at all, sir, just saying it was fine earlier." The stocky officer ordered Nathan out of the car. Nathan complied, keeping his movements slow and deliberate. But when the wiry officer opened the passenger door and ordered Malik out, Nathan's calm demeanor cracked just slightly. "No," Nathan said firmly, stepping forward. "He's a child, he stays in the car." The officers exchanged smug glances, clearly enjoying their dominance. The stocky officer leaned in closer to Nathan. "Got a problem following orders, Marine?" he sneered. Nathan stood tall, his voice calm but unyielding. "I just want to get my nephew home." The wiry cop slammed the passenger door shut, startling Malik, who clutched his fishing rod in fear. The situation was escalating. Nathan knew it wasn't just about him anymore. Malik was watching, and Nathan needed to show him what strength and integrity looked like, even under pressure. The officers' taunts grew louder. They demanded Nathan put his hands on the hood of the car for a search. Nathan complied, his mind racing through his Marine training. Control the situation, assess every variable, and stay one step ahead. The wiry officer began an invasive pat-down, tossing Nathan's phone and wallet onto the hood. "Marine, huh?" he mocked. "You think that's supposed to impress me?" Nathan didn't respond. His silence was louder than any words. But then, the wiry officer opened the back door again, this time motioning for Malik to get out. The boy hesitated, trembling. Nathan's voice cut through the tension like a blade. "Leave him alone," he said, his tone firm and commanding. For a moment, the officers faltered. Nathan's unshakable presence was unnerving. But their arrogance returned, and the wiry officer reached for Malik again. That's when Nathan stepped between them, positioning himself as a barrier. "Malik, stay in the car," Nathan instructed. The boy nodded, tears streaming down his face as he clutched the phone. Nathan's calm but firm demeanor showed the officers they weren't dealing with someone who would back down. Malik, with trembling hands, unlocked Nathan's phone and began recording the incident. The wiry officer noticed and moved toward the car, but Nathan blocked his path. "He's doing what you're afraid of," Nathan said. Making sure the truth comes out, the officer's confidence wavered. The stocky cop's hand hovered near his holster, but Nathan's voice broke through their posturing. "This can end right here," Nathan said. "No one has to get hurt. But if you push further, you'll see your power only goes so far." At that moment, the sound of approaching sirens filled the air. Backup had arrived, but the officers who stepped out were different, cautious and professional. One, a black officer, assessed the situation carefully. So, the black officer asked Nathan, "Are you and the boy okay?" Nathan nodded, his tone steady. "We're fine." But these two have been abusing their authority. Malik handed over the phone, and the younger officers reviewed the footage. Their expressions darkened as the truth became clear. The black officer turned to the stocky cop and said firmly, "Turn in your badge now." Defeated, the corrupt officers complied. The system, flawed though it was, had taken its first step toward accountability. As Nathan drove home, Malik finally broke the silence. "Uncle Nathan, are you mad?" Nathan looked at him through the rearview mirror, his voice soft but steady. "No, Malik, I'm proud. You did the right thing today." Malik's small smile lit up the car. In that moment, Nathan knew he had shown his nephew the true meaning of strength, not just physical, but the strength to stand up for what's right, no matter the odds. Thank you for watching this powerful story about courage and justice. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to Unfolded Tales Explained and hit the bell icon to never miss a thought-provoking story. See you next time.